Hi guys, right, I thought it was time I got back to my desk with my pencils and my pad and started on another drawing. Now the last one I did was the Terminator, the one before that was the Predator, and this time I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more and go into a little bit more detail with an intricate more of a piece. So I've chosen a person. The way I'm drawing this person is not how you would normally see him. I'm not going to reveal who it is until the very, very end. You may even guess during that time, but I will hopefully during the time lapse give you a little bit of detail on how I do things and what I look for as well, and during the shading type process as well. So let's get to my desk and let's get started.
Okay, so I start with the outline, giving me an idea of the shape of the face, the shape of the drawing and the size as well. I never work to right to the edges of each page. I think it looks a bit messy. Certainly when you start shading it in, if you find that you work right to the very end, obviously your pencil can fall off the side. So I'm using the rubber at the moment as well quite a lot, because you have to make sure the eyes are in place and the nose, and most importantly the mouth. If you don't get the mouth right, it will never look anything like the person. I think the mouths are majorly important. It's a little bit easier with this particular drawing because the mouth's covered a little bit by a hand. You can just see that at the moment, which I'm doing the watch on the wrist of that hand as well. So at the moment, just sketching it in using a 4H pencil, very, very light. No real smudging goes off. That's why I've not got any paper under my hand. And again, I'm just working down towards a suit which this person is wearing. And like I said at the very beginning, this is not how this person is dressed, normally how we would see him. Certainly not on a week or a monthly basis anyway when you see him on the TV. So working this suit, just sketching in again, just below the nose and the side as a beard. And now you can see I start to shade it in. So I've got the basic outline and then I start putting the deep dark patches in. Using darker pencils, 2B and 5B was the deepest. This was the second hardest part of the whole drawing, the hair, because you've got to get every hair follicle in place, especially at this moment. I'm doing the side, which is shaved, so you're trying to get lines in the direction that is shaved. Again, the hair follicles, and as it moves over towards his right-hand side, now it starts to get a bit darker. Maybe easier for me, really, to do that, but I'm still trying to pick up the direction his hair is going in, the different lines. Again, like I said, it wasn't the hardest part, but it was quite difficult to do. As I work down this side, his right ear is quite deep and dark. I think the photo would have been taken so that the light would have been casting on his left, making his right-hand side a little bit darker. So I work down the face, sketching in these eyebrows. Again, using a 5B pencil at the minute, so you can't really rub out. You've got to get this spot on, hence the reason why I did all the outlines first. This way it starts to come out of the page a little bit more now, but I say if you make mistakes at this moment, you can't really rub it out. It just smudges and makes a real mess of it. So working under that nose, getting the shadings under the nose as well, and working up towards that other eye, bringing in a few deep dark shades as well, just to try and catch where the light's casting on his face, going into the other eyebrow. Now you can see sometimes it's difficult. You have to try and make sure the eyes are spot on and in line with each other. If his head is cocked to one side or the other, it will make one eye higher than the other as well, so you have to be aware of that. This was a bit of a challenge as well. This ear I'm doing now is actually a grappler's ear, a bit of a cauliflower type ear, so it may give away a little bit about this person and what they do. I enjoyed doing this ear, but you won't get the full detail until right at the very end, until you can see a little bit closer up. It was a lighter ear than the other side, but it had a few dark lines in it as well, giving the idea of the fact that it was a grappler type cauliflower ear. So again, it was a little bit different to what I've done in the past. Again, after this, moving back up towards this forehead, sometimes I'll go back to things I've already done because I'll see it in slightly different from day to day. Sometimes I'll think that maybe it needs to be a little bit darker, so I'll go back to it as well. Obviously, this moment I'm doing this now, I would have probably been spent about 15 to 20 hours on it just at the point I'm at now. So the whole thing would have been certainly over 30 hours. It's such a hard thing to do. Now, this was the real testing time. This was the part that really took the time. Working on his beard, trying to get every single hair follicle and the direction it's going in, and also working on the shades. Obviously, underneath the chin is darker than at the top of the chin. So this was one of the things that I knew was going to be a challenge, and this is why I chose to do this. And it was enjoyable to do, and it was a little bit easy, the fact that his hand's covering half of his chin, so I didn't have to do as much of his beard. Obviously, if it wasn't covering, it would have been a little bit more. Now, working on the hand itself, trying to pick up again the dark lines as it's resting against his face. He is holding a toothpick in his mouth between his forefinger and his thumb, so making all of his internal fingers a little bit darker as he's got that arc in his hand. So I tried to get them deep dark shades inside there. and working on that back of that hand and just shading in the lines as well. So trying to work on these the knuckles, getting the lines in the knuckles and the back of the hand, working down to his wrist, and we start working on that watch very soon as well. Now the watch, I'm sure, is a very expensive watch. Had a leather strap on this watch as well, so I had to try and pick up all the dark shades that were in it. The face itself wasn't too bad, but this watch strap, which I'm doing now, was quite difficult, certainly in this middle bit here. You're trying to catch up all the lines as well to make it look like it's a shiny surface. Again, the watch face, because it's at an angle, you couldn't really see a great deal of it. Made it a little bit easier, I suppose, because again, if you picked up every single detail of it, with it being an expensive watch, I'm sure it would have been a lot harder. So with it being at an angle, it was a bit easier. Working down on the suit now. Now, obviously, like I said in the video at the beginning, that this isn't how this person is normally dressed, or certainly how we see him dressed when we do see him. So he's got a suit on. So I'm working on the breast pocket at the moment. I'm trying to catch, when I'm doing this suit, I'm trying to catch all the cotton tones. Some are darker, some are lighter. It's not a matter of just using a grey pencil and just shading in a suit. There's a lot more to it. You have to try and pick up every single light on that suit. The tie, which I'm doing now as well, was difficult. There was lines in the tie, certainly at the bottom, trying to get the different light casting against the tie. And as it got to the top, under his chin, it became darker. So it's a little bit easier to do. Even the shirt that he's wearing is a stripy shirt. So you have to try and pick up every single stripe, every single crease. And obviously the shading as well. So working on that other side of his chin, working still on the suit. Again, you can see it's a bit darker on that side because the light's cast on the opposite side of his face. So we're bringing in this other breast of his suit, again working cotton lines, deeper, darker shades. This had to be done. It was a bit time consuming. It was done patch by patch. You know, it's amazing how you could spend 20 minutes and you've probably only done a 2-inch squared patch. You know, so it was quite a time-consuming process, but when you look back at it, it was quite enjoyable to do. And you can see now I'm not going to the edge of the page, which I mentioned earlier, but I'm having to rest my hand on this paper just in case it smudges as I'm moving my hand, as it make everything a real mess. Right, we're getting towards the end of the piece now, so I'm still trying to do patches of this suit, working towards the bottom. Changing the pencil every now and again. I tend to be using a 4B at this moment, pressing on a little bit harder than other times, and then for them dark shades, just bringing that 5B pencil as well. I don't really use the 4H at this moment because I've already used that for the outline, and you can get away with using a 2B, to be honest, with this. So just finishing this bottom part, and we'll reveal who it is. And if you've not guessed already, it is the notorious Conor McGregor, and I'll show you a close-up so you can get to see all the detail and in place. If you want to watch any of my other videos, I've done some more on YouTube, the Predator and the Terminator, so please have a watch.